Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Daily D. Today's topic is business ownership, maybe more so startup, and entrepreneurialism. People who want to start a business or want to be an entrepreneur, please listen up. This is for you specifically. I really need you to hear this because this is some things that I probably should have heard early on. And if I would have, I don't know if it would have made a difference, but I'll tell you that it probably would have made a difference. So you better watch this, okay? So let's talk about this. So the reason I'm talking about this today is because for the last few years, I get emails, text messages, phone calls, Facebook messages, WhatsApps, all kinds of things from people asking me, David, I need some advice. Help me become successful. Help me figure this out. And a lot of that comes down to, well, what is it that you're actually seeking? You know, I always ask people, what are you trying to accomplish? It's probably one of the most common questions I ask people. What are you trying to accomplish here? What are you trying to do here? What are you trying to achieve, right? And a lot of the times it's people who just haven't put the pieces together. Now, I'm going to tell you that some of the most common questions, just to give you guys clarity, some of the most common questions are, should I start an LLC? How do I develop a business plan? How do I get a loan? That's a huge one. How do I get a loan? How do I, find a bank that'll lend me money? How do I find a team? How do I get employees? How do I keep people? How do I train them? How do I, pay people? How do I do payroll? These are the most common questions that people come to me with. And as you can tell, by the way, most of those questions that I just mentioned to you all revolve around operations. See, there's the specific functions of a business. There's operational, right? And then there's what we'll call sales or marketing. It's just two sides. There's a back office and a front office. Now, there's obviously more dynamics than that. I could talk about accounting and finance and all those things, but just really think about it, a front office and a back office. And the front office is really where you do sales and marketing. And the back office is where you handle administration, like insurance, formation, banking, relationships, accounting, all that stuff is in the back office. That stuff doesn't matter to the customer. The front office is what matters to the customer, okay? So why am I sharing this with you? Well, too many times do I get business or aspiring business owners, people who are starting a business, they come to me with the questions like, should I form an LLC? And should I go to a bank? And the first thing I ask, have you made any sales? What are your sales today? And I'm like, well, I'm just starting up. I don't have any sales yet. I'm really just figuring this out. Okay, well, I really want to be sometimes really blunt, but sometimes I got to censor myself because I don't want to offend people. But really, guys, the first thing you need to do is have some sales. You have to have some sales. There's no such thing as a LLC that is successful. It's an LLC with customers that's successful. You can't borrow money from a bank unless you have sales. A bank doesn't lend money to people who want to make sales because then they would lend money to everybody, right? Just because you have an LLC doesn't mean anything. You paid somebody like me to establish your LLC, and now you have a piece of paperwork that's worth the piece of paper. It's not really worth anything unless it has sales. You see, many times do people get frustrated, stuck in a rut over things that are in the back office and not the front office. See, I know when a true entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur is going to be out there. I know when they're going to be successful. When the first thing they're asking is, I need to know how to get more customers. I need to know how to increase my sales. I need to know how to, market. I need to know how to lead generate. I need to know how to get out there. You see, when I hear somebody say those things, I know they're going to be successful. When I hear somebody say, well, if I just had an insurance policy to make sure that nobody sues me, I'd be successful. And I would, my counter to that is, you don't even have anything to be sued for. You have to have sales, you have to have revenue, you have to have money to be sued, right? Nobody's going to sue you. And even if they did, what are they going to get? The piece of paper on your LLC? Because that's about it, guys. You see, you don't need a plan, a business plan. You don't need an LLC. You don't need a business loan. You don't need insurance. Now, eventually you're going to need all these things. But you don't need those things to be successful. Those are just tools that you'll need along the way. You see, a true entrepreneur goes out and sells. He goes door to door. He hustles. He finds business. He works 13, 17, 22 hours a day. He pushes the limits. He does whatever it takes. He's looking for money. He's looking for customers. He's looking to create an experience. He's looking for upsell opportunities. He's not, and by the way, this could be she, I apologize. He's not, or she's not talking about, could we just draw this perfect business plan on a piece of paper that means, really, to be honest with you, shit? Now, if you're an investor and you have a lot of money and you've already done a business, you're in your second business, it makes sense to have a plan because you know what it takes to be successful. But if this is your first rodeo, if you will, you're trying to be too big, too fast. And I mean too big in the back office. The front office needs to scale. I would much rather have a problem of having too much money, too many customers, than having a problem of being underinsured. You see how that works? We have to think about this in a sense that business isn't about the back office. You can hire people for that. You can outsource people for that. You can put people in place, or you can hire a company, okay? You don't have to know any of that stuff. You can hire me, I'll do that. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to market. You need to learn how to get in customers. You need to learn how to take care of those customers. If you can't figure that out, you're never going to be successful in business. I hope one day you realize, if you're that person, I hope you realize that you can be successful. You just have to stop focusing about all the other crap that somebody told you needed and just focus on going to get customers. I wish you success, good health, wealth, and most importantly, freedom today. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.